want to show you how to use SketchPad, which is an online graphic design or drawing app. It can be used for photographs as well if you wanted to. You can do some really interesting stuff with it, and all I ask is that you kind of try to figure it out this week. So to get there, you go into Google, you type in SketchPad 5.1. You can see I've done this a few times, and you click on it here. Brings you into the app. And it starts off at a blank page, but I'm going to ask you guys always kind of go over here where the plus is and hit new and try to make it at least 3,000 wide by 2,400 tall, so that you have a big enough image that you can print it out if you choose. That's kind of the end goal and product, is to have something printed out. So make sure that you're making it big enough that it can be. So then you hit create. Now, what I'm going to say is that in general, SketchPad, once you start using it, it becomes really easy, but at first it seems really difficult because it seems like you don't have that many tools. But the reality is when you hit click where it says calligraphy, underneath this you have a whole bunch of other tools. And I'll say that like most of these tools aren't that great. I'd say that like the only ones that you really should be focusing on are pencil, pen, paintbrush, line, and path. These other ones are fine, and I want you to play around with them if you want, but I kind of find that they can be a little distracting to your creativity, and really should just be focusing on pencil, pen, paintbrush, line, and path. And then if you go under the star, there's a whole bunch of different shapes you can choose from. And again, I'm going to say that most of these aren't that great. The square, rectangle, polygon, triangle, star, circle, and ellipse are fine. Everything else can just kind of get in the way. They're not very great. Underneath text, this is pretty straightforward. These are your fonts. You have a whole bunch of different fonts to choose from. And then you also have access to clip art, but again, I feel like this can be a little distracting. They're just kind of stickers, and they don't really do much to your image. If you can figure out a way to be really creative and interesting with these, do it. But personally, I find them just kind of distracting. You're basically taking somebody else's art, and that's just not what we're here to do. So I would really just focus on this one here. Sorry, I skipped one. And then like vector fill doesn't really do a ton. It does once you start drawing, and you'll learn about that later. But right now, just focus on this over here, and focus on like the pencil tool, the pen tool, the paintbrush tool, the line tool, and the path tool. Those are going to get you where you want to go. Each of these, underneath them, you can choose what size you want your line to be, and that's kind of important. You don't want to paint a layer. Don't worry about these blend modes. This is stuff that's kind of advanced, and you don't really have to worry about it right now. This is about as far as I'm going to go in here. I'm going to let you guys kind of explore with it and see what happens. If you go into YouTube and you type in SketchPad 5.1 like I've done here, you're going to see that there are a whole bunch of videos on how to do this. There are even teachers in here that have videos showing their students how to use this. And though I would love to make you, like Miss Lake, love to make these videos for you, there's so much to learn in this. I think that this is a great time to lean on what other people have learned and use their tutorials instead. So you are going to go into YouTube, type in SketchPad 5.1, and watch these videos to learn how to use this. That's how you're going to learn how to use it. So I want you to try to be as creative as you can. I want you to have like 2 hours this week to mess around with it. So like play around with it. You know, you're not being assessed on how quote unquote good your image is. You're being assessed on how willing you are to kind of just mess around with new tools and new materials. So like make something you're proud of, make something that's interesting, and have fun with it. That's what you're supposed to be doing with this standard, and that's what I'm going to be assessing you on. So I really want to see that you've spent 2 hours on this. That's what I want to see. So again, it's called SketchPad 5.1. Your image should be at least 3,000 by 2,400. If you need some help on how to use it, go to type in SketchPad 5.1 on YouTube, and there's tons of tutorials. Have fun this week, and I'm excited what you'll see. What you create. Have a good one. I'll see you next week.